Welcome to the Lifebox Media Channel radio podcast. Remember Lifebox Media Channel. Ladies and gentlemen, Gallatin Comic Con 2024. I mean, right here with one of the legendary members of Happy Days, Mr. Ralph Malph. My name is Donnie Most. He's a singer. He's an entertainer. Donnie Most, how are you today?
I'm doing good, Doc.
Pretty good, man. Pretty good, buddy. Thank you so much, man. It's awesome to see you here, man. Reaching out and talking to the fans and everything else. I was talking to Anson earlier and sitting there, coming in. I mean, what's it like after all these years? And well, there's Anson right there coming right over. and I'm gonna bring it into it. He directed a show that you guys were in. It was fantastic, by the way, and I thought it was awesome. I was talking about it, and you guys did a wonderful job, completely switching it out.
Which show, the Take Two? Was it Harvest Time?
Yes, exactly. I wanted to bring to it. And what a great job, but you guys working together, and it's just you two in it.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a fantastic job, and there he is right there.
That was a very cool piece.
And I thought it was fantastic you guys working together. Yeah. And, but tell me what it is like, today, all these years later. I mean, obviously, I'm a fan first. I've got to know you a little bit, and I think you're an awesome guy and a phenomenal singer. We'll get to the minute, but all these years later, 50 years of Happy Days. I mean, people you're touching their lives all this time, man.
I know, it's amazing. Hard to believe it's been 50 years, but the fact that new generations keep learning about the show and
right.
loving the show, and parents are saying, I have my kids now watching the show, and that was going on from the 70s into the 80s,
right,
and into the 90s, and into the early 2000s. But the fact that it's still going on now, where more people are learning about the show, on all the different streaming channels,
right,
and how much they still enjoy it and are affected by it. They tell me how much it helped them through some tough times.
Yes.
The escape and the joy of the show. And people, really sharing stories about how important it was. And it's hard, we wouldn't have known until you get out there and really interact with the fans.
Yeah, I mean, looking at just, every Tuesday night for me, man, I was at the house, at home. That's one of the things I stopped right there. The Happy Days had to be it on TV. And then fast forwarding it now, with an incredible, New York High album, by the way, Bruce, we were just talking to my buddy Tony Mander back here, produced it. Yeah. But man, congratulations. You have a great voice. We were talking on the side. It is. I wanted to find out what got you into this music. I know you've been a fan for a long time, but what got you into this music?
Well, yeah, I was a fan of the Great American Songbook and the jazz standards. From the time I was pretty young, I got exposed to it, seeing the movie The Jolson Story, and then hearing on the radio all the greats, whether it was Sinatra and Nat King Cole,
right,
Ella Fitzgerald, and all of those wonderful singers back in the day. And I was a fan ever since. And finally, I was singing before I was acting, but I put it aside when I wanted to focus on acting, when I got to be about 17. And I knew I'd come back to it. And I didn't know when. I don't know why I waited as long as I did.
I was going to say, Donnie, it's been a little bit,
Yeah, waited a little bit long. Because it was about 10 years ago when I really got back into it, putting together, a show and finding musicians in LA, and then playing a bunch of the jazz clubs out there.
Yes.
And clubs in New York, and then theaters, and just expanding and then recording. I've done 2 albums in the last
Right here they are, ladies and gentlemen. Go check them out. They're both phenomenal.
Yeah, and this new one right there that we did.
New York High.
Right here in Nashville. We recorded it. Yeah, Tony, as you mentioned, Tony Manton produced it. He's based here. And wonderful musicians on it. Great arrangements, and just all clicked. It really clicked.
It's amazing because the fact that you're so natural. A lot of people associate you with Ralph Malph, and you're hilarious, man. And it's funny because I always sit there in acting part. I always thought that humor was the hardest to act, in my opinion. And that timing and everything else, and that comedy is so hard to just have that. And you guys had that magic chemistry, and obviously the chemistry and the writing and everything else is there.
Yeah.
But then coming out. And I've seen you. I haven't seen you live yet, and I'm going to. But I've seen you watch your videos in New York and everything else. And come on, you're playing New York, Donnie. That is has to be the coolest thing ever.
Especially
playing
going
New York
up there.
Right. You're playing at the house, so to speak. You're playing where you grew up at and stuff. How's it like, getting these standards out there and introducing a new set of fans to the Standards? I mean, because you and I, basically, the music you listen to, and you're only a couple years older than I am, is that a lot of that music was way before us.
Oh yeah.
You know, way before us.
Way before
so
us.
you're bringing this music forward in 2024. By the way, thank you for that, because I think we need to see some of that, some of those standards again. But what's it like when people come up and you say, oh my gosh, and then they go back and they find out the history of some of these songs you've done, and you're doing them justice to them now?
Thanks. Yeah, it's amazing. Like you brought up, some of these songs are 100 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
Because when I talk about the music, I usually say who wrote it, what
Right.
year it was published, and a bunch of the songs I do were from 1924,
Right.
1927, from the 30s, and they're standards for a reason.
And you and I are only 25.
But they're standards for a reason. They
Right.
stand the test of time.
Yes, sir.
I mean, these songs, that's why even some young people today, if they're exposed to it right, they love it.
Right.
If they're exposed to it properly, and it's like very different than what they've heard. And
Exactly.
so I love when I see some young people in the audience, enjoying it.
Absolutely.
Because like you said, it's keeping it going. And there's been a bunch of other great singers.
Sure.
It's what started. I remember, when Tony Bennett started doing his acoustic set on MTV,
Yes.
but then Harry Connick, did it when
Yes.
Harry met Sally the music.
Absolutely.
And then Diana Krall came into the scene with paying a tribute to Nat King Cole. That album is fantastic.
Yes.
And then, of course, Michael Bublé today.
Right.
And Rod Stewart has done a bunch of albums.
Outstanding ones too in the 90s and 2000s. Right, exactly.
Standards. So, the wonderful Linda Ronstadt.
Oh yeah, I love my girl Linda. Yeah,
So
exactly.
there are a lot of wonderful singers that have been keeping it alive, and thank goodness, because there was a period when I was on Happy Days, in the mid '60s to mid '70s, around there, that music was starting to be looked upon as your parents and grandparents. music.
Yes, I remember. Yeah.
And it wasn't
Cool? It wasn't hip to listen to it. Yeah.
It's now become again.
Right.
So thank God for that.
Yeah, well, I mean, and again, New York High is a fantastic album. I suggest everybody to go out and get it. And that's just not because I know you, pal. I think that it actually is. You did a hell of a job on it, man. And I think that the production, the sound, the musicians, and when you do it live, I think when you do it live, as I've seen some of these ones, some of your videos from New York and stuff, it is, and it's just, and you just feel it. I can just see you just light up when you talk about it. So I mean, it's really awesome that how much you're a fan of it and you enjoy it. But where can everybody find you on social media, Donnie?
On Facebook, it's Don Most, and Instagram, DonMost1. Twitter is @Most_Don.
And I'm sorry, I still call you Donnie, and forgive me, my friend.
That's all right. I tell people either one is fine.
It is. Anson said, it's Don, and I'm like, I know I'll catch up to it one day or another. I'm sorry, buddy.
For people, it doesn't matter to me. But my billing, when I was leaving Happy Days, I started billing myself as Don, so I could get, how I don't want to say break away from it, but go beyond. And
it was a separate part of your life, right? Is that you were advancing forward, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And everybody loves you from Happy Days, but when everybody starts listening to your music, buddy, they fall in love with you again just for the fact of what you're bringing there and you're touching people's lives. So I, my friend, want to thank you for that so much as it is on it. And everybody come out to the Gallatin ConCon 2024, Gallatin, Tennessee, today, Saturday, and tomorrow, Sunday. Come meet all the cast of Happy Days. 50 years, my gosh, man, brother, that's crazy.
Crazy is right.
Thank you so much, Donnie. Always a pleasure. Check out
pleasure.
New York High, Donnie Most, Don Most. We'll get it right. Yeah, Lifebox Media Channel. We are out.